G'day guys, welcome back. Welcome to Pouring Your Heart Out. I'm going to do a 3D bloom for you today, but there's a bit of a difference. You know how normally I put in clear resin and then I drop in my alcohol ink? Well, what would happen if instead of clear resin, I coloured it and then did my white? Do you think that would work? I'm curious to see. So I've got my resin here. I mixed up 110 grams of A and 105 grams of B. And I put it in my microwave. I have a special microwave it's only a little one that I bought specifically for resin because it's getting really cold now. It's getting like down to 3 degrees overnight in my studio, and the resin's just thick, and you know, it's difficult for the bubbles to come out of it when it's that thick. So I heat it first for 10 seconds in a big cup. If it's only a little cup, I only do like 5 seconds just to warm it just a little bit, so it sort of becomes a little bit thinner, and then the bubbles are easier to get out. So I did that, and then I stirred it for 4 minutes. Gosh, 4 minutes. And then I popped it into my Let's Resin bubble removing machine. So this is the resin I'm using. Let's Resin Fast Cure. That's A in the orange, and then B is in the blue. So that's what I'm using. All right, so I've got 20 grams in here for my white, and I'm using my bloom. So I'm going to put 2 drops in. So that's 1 drop per 10 grams. 1, 2. And I like to keep it upside down so it's ready to go for next time. So I'll stir that up in a minute. I just had to keep that separate. Oh, I need a little bit. I'm going to do some, I'm doing black and like pink, black and pink. So I'm going to put some of these black sprinkles. I guess they're just black sprinkles. I'll just pour a little bit in there. Could be dark brown, I'm not sure. Don't need very many. And I'm going to add a little bit of black to that. So I've got probably double the amount of resin in this one that I have in this one, because I'm going to put my black in the center. And this is Let's Resin's alcohol ink. This one is purplish red. So let's just we'll just start with 1. And then this one is black. So yeah, I'm keen to see what this is going to do. Probably need to add more, but we'll just start with that. We don't want too much colour. Oh, look at that. It's strong, isn't it? Beautiful. Okay, so 1 drop is enough. Okay, don't stir like a mad woman. Gosh, you're going to make bubbles. Just try to get the bubbles out. But we don't want any streaks. So one drop, wow, goes a long way, doesn't it? And it does look darker because it's deeper. It's about that deep. But when I put it out into the mold, it shouldn't be quite that dark. All right, so that's that one. I have got bubbles in it. Oh my gosh, I'm using the wrong side of my stick. Never mind. I think I'll do another drop of the black. 1 more little drop of the black, just so it's sort of the same depth of colour. So I guess we're going to have like a pink and greyish sort of a look when I add the white, which is fine. I think I want a little bit darker than that. You'd think black would be like stronger, wouldn't you? But it's just the pigments that are in it. So the pink, purplish red is obviously a darker, stronger pigment than the black. Now this is going to be a little bit tricky to do. Actually, I was going to say try to put like pink in each and then put the black in the middle, but now I'm thinking maybe I just do like a puddle pour because it'll kind of spread anyway. So yeah, let's do that. We'll do like a puddle pour. Didn't clean my mold. This is my small frangipani mold. So we'll pour this in. And then when I pour the black, oh gosh, see, look, I haven't scraped the sides very well. I guess the colour's on the sides there. Yep, so remember to scrape your sides. I've got something in there. Let's get that out. Okay, maybe we won't scrape the sides to get the rest out. Okay, so that's that one. Let's just push this to the edges. There we go. If you can see any bubbles that are caught in the corners, just use a silicone brush, a little toothpick, one of these little double-ended ball things, whatever it's called, just to get any bubbles out. And there's one. Just pick it out, pull it into the center, and it'll come up to the surface, and you can either take it out or you can give it a very light little torch. Maybe you've got one of those long-handled little flame things. You could use that. But you don't want to be torching anywhere near the side of your mold. That's for sure. So I'm just going to give it like a very quick little torch just in the middle. I'm not going to go around the sides of my mold because that's where you're going to burn it. All right, now I'll put a little bit in there just to make a paste. I don't even know if I'm going to use all of this now. Let's change hands. I'll pour some of this in the middle. See what that does. I may need a bit more. We'll see what happens. I'll keep that just in case I want a little bit more, but it will kind of move from the inside out, so I probably didn't actually need quite that much. All right, stir our white. Another little torch. You can certainly see a difference in the way the resin reacts and the bubbles that appear or stay in the resin once we get into the colder climates, for sure, because normally I wouldn't have any bubbles at all in my resin. Okay, pour that. But yeah, you know, the bottles just get so cold when you're in a cold climate. You could, you know, if you're having trouble with with bubbles, you could put your bottles of resin in hot water, like both of them in a hot water bath, and that certainly does help to minimize the bubbles because, you know, it gets thin. I'm not going to use any. Oh, where's that? No, I'm not going to use any more of that. I probably got quite enough, maybe even too much. So. Let me move some things out of the way here so I can get to my bit of paper towel. Okay, clean that. All right. Now this, just going to mix that. Make a little bit of a paste there. And plop it into the center. Give it a bit of a mix just so that it's sort of a bit more natural looking on the edges and not just a big round blob. And hopefully it's in the center. Oh gosh. You could, you know, measure, I guess, to see if it is actually in the center. All right. Quick little, you shouldn't do that. One day I'm going to burn my plastic bag, aren't I? Make a big hole in it. One day. All right. It's looking pretty. Hopefully I haven't got too much black in the center. I thought it was going to move in, but it doesn't seem to. All right, so you can see there where the clear section is, where the white ends and the tip. I'm just going to go halfway there between those two. You can always make the little hole bigger if you want to, but you know, you can't make it smaller. So, and then wind it up so that you've got no air on the top. Just check. Alrighty, let's do this. I think I'm just going to follow the shape of the mold here actually. Let's think what I'm going to do with this particular one. It's very pretty. It really lends itself to a 3D bloom, this particular design of mold. Whoops, what am I doing? Doesn't matter if it's, you know, not exactly the shape of the mold. As the resin moves, it's going to change. It's going to do a little bit of a circle in there, a bit of a circle there, and there, to fill those up. And then actually I might just do a little bit of a wriggle. Oh, maybe I should have put 30 grams in. I only did 20. I thought, yeah, it'll be enough, but it's probably better to have a little bit more than not enough. Okay, I think that'll do. Yep, that will do. All right, now you can go ahead and, there's a bubble. See where those two have joined there? You can just sort of smooth that out a little bit, make it look a bit neater. All right, now, where it points in, we shall go in. I'm just going to use this little ball on the end here. And you don't need to do this. You could just leave it al naturel if you wanted to. And then I'm going to leave those middle ones, and I'm just going to come up in the center here. Yes, there. And there. All right, now I have got some bubbles and I don't want to torch them. I'm just going to use my heat gun here and just give that a bit of a heat and pop those bubbles, because like I said, normally I don't have this many bubbles. It's just the temperature, and I'm going to sort of push from the outside in. Oops. Push in, push in, push in. Oops. Push in and push in and then around, just to get that blooming started. If it doesn't want to, you know, yeah, I'm gonna have trouble, I think, with I always have trouble in winter with resin. If you guys have been resining a long time, you're in, like, you know, different climates, you have your summer and you have your winter, you probably notice that your resin does different things in different climates. But yeah, it's starting to bloom now, as you can see that everything's spreading. So hopefully that will be really pretty. I'm just going to torch that middle bit. All right, let's come down and have a little look. Just a little look. Don't have a big look, okay? Just have a little look. Right, there we go. You can see it's starting to bloom. That heat, I think, just helps it. You don't want to do too much heat, because we've waited this long for the resin to get to a certain temperature, you know, to thicken up. And if you heat it, it'll get really thin, and then your white might drop through and you might have the dreaded blobbies, and we don't want that. So this is going to be really interesting, isn't it? We're going to have, hopefully we're going to have pink blooms going into black blooms, and I am going to do a black background. So we'll see what that looks like. All right, I'm going to cover this with a big net, and I'll see you probably in about 4 or 5 hours, because it's cold in here, for the top coat. And in the meantime, I'm going to go and make some Greek baklava. Yum! Love baklava. This has cured now, and I have mixed up my black. Still got 30 seconds left to stir it. I am using the Let's Resin black epoxy, and I've just run out. I put in the microwave for 10 seconds to get that last little bit out, so I'm going to have to get some more. I love using the black because I don't have to add anything to it. That's black, that's clear, and then you mix them together and you get black. So yeah, it's just easy. You don't have to worry about, you know, your pigments not mixing in. That's happened to me before. I had these like uncured blobs of black pigment dropping down. I guess I just didn't stir it properly enough. I don't know. But anyway, I like doing it this way. So I've got about 100 grams here, just over. So 3.5 ounces, I think, to be exact. So we'll just pop that on. This looks as if it has bloomed beautifully. My only concern is that my pink looks rather dark. Even though it was only 1 drop of alcohol ink, it does look a little dark, so I'm a bit concerned that when I turn it over, we're not really going to see much in the way of the white petals, but I could be mistaken. But this is my first time I've done this, so if it is a little bit dark, then, you know, there's always next time, and then I can adjust it. I can just do half a drop. There we go. That was pretty perfect, that amount to go in there. Oops, gone over the edge. All right, so that's it. Now I will just give it a light little spritz with some isopropyl, and that's done. So now we have to wait again. It's the problem with doing 2 layers, isn't it? Waiting. So again, I'm gonna have to wait another. Oh, I'm not torching, I picked up the wrong thing. So this is, as far as I know, it's not a fast cure. I think it's just more like their regular resin. So hopefully I can still unmold that tonight. Yeah, so wish me luck. See what it's going to look like. See you soon. Right, it is done. I did hurry it up a little bit because I wanted it done before dinner tonight. So I just popped it into my food dehydrator. So it's still a little bit warm, but it's good. It's good to go. All right, here we go. Gosh, I hope I can see the white petals. That's the only thing I'm a bit concerned about. But I think it'll, well, no, I don't know. Hopefully it'll be all right. But like I said earlier, it's just resin. We can do another one. Now, I will link this frangipani mold for you down below. It's a nice thick mold. It's not like those really thin, flimsy ones. So if you want that one, I will link it for you. All right. Are we ready? I'll have this point going up. Okay. Okay, here we go. Should we count? 1, 2, 3. Oh, wow. That is amazing. Wow. I did not think that it would show up like that. Look at that. How pretty is it? So we can actually see pink. Like there's not really any white. There's the pink on the edge from the pink resin that I put down. And then we've got that sort of grey center. And then the little black dots match the black exterior. Oh, that's really pretty. I probably could have made that a little bit smaller. And I didn't pull the stick through these middle ones. Yeah, probably could have made that a little bit smaller, and then we could see more of that middle bloom. But what do you think? Do you like that one? I could probably bend this into a bowl actually, because it's soft because it's been in the food dehydrator, but it is cured. That's so pretty. Let's go and look at it over on the other side of the room, shall we? As we usually do. Okay. Here we go. I'll move my step. I want to move my step out of the way because I was standing on that so I could see through my screen. Okay, here we go. Look at that. It's so pretty. I actually really like how the black is just blends nicely. Well, it's the grey actually. It just sort of blends nicely. Now we've got a different type of bloom here, and I don't know if that's, you can see where all my bubbles were, can't you? Those little dots. I think I'll have to put it in my bubble removing machine a little bit longer so that we don't get those. So those little dots there, those are bubbles that have popped. But it's it's a different sort of bloom. See the edges? And I'm wondering if that's because I put the white into a coloured resin. What do you think? Because normally I don't get that sort of feathered edge. unless it's just for the bubbles. I'm not sure. Not sure, but it's really pretty. Let me know what you think of it. Wow. I really like the color blending. I can't get over it. Because yeah, normally, like I say, you know, I just drip the alcohol inks in, and you see a little bit of color, and then a bit of white, a bit of color, and a bit of white, you know, because the ink hasn't sort of spread the whole thing. But on this, obviously, it's all the same color because the resin was pink. I'm just going to go and grab one of my other ones. This will do. This is just an old one I did. And you can see the difference here. Oops, I've got silicone on it. Get off. You can see the difference where we've got white and then we've got the color where I dropped the inks in. But it's sort of, you know, there's a bit of blue there, there's a little bit of blue there, some white there. It's more variegated. So that's the look you get when you drop ink in, and then you've also got some white petals. But because I had colored resin here, we don't have any white petals. So that's the difference. Which one do you prefer? They're just different. It's nice to have a different look, you know? And you're still using the resin, you're still using the alcohol inks. You're just mixing one versus dripping one. So let me know what you think. I'm really happy with it. I want to do it again in different colors. All right. Well, I hope you've enjoyed the video. And I'm looking forward to seeing you again for the next one. So we'll catch up then. All right. Take care. Bye for now.